It is Sunday, February 8th, 2026. And I want you to, just for a second, close your eyes and think back 3 years.
Oh, 2023.
Remember 2023? The noise, the hype, everyone was shouting that prompt engineering was the new gold rush.
Oh, I remember it vividly. It was the learn to code of this decade, but on like a whole other level. Everyone thought typing "Imagine a cat in space," photorealistic 8K was a legit six-figure career.
Exactly. But here we are, it's 2026. And the reality is just, it's starkly different.
What is?
The economy moved on. It went from prompts to, well, to agentic workflows. The whole job of prompt engineer, it's kind of dead.
Or it's just literacy now.
Yeah.
It's not a job title.
It's like knowing how to use a hammer versus being a carpenter.
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
No one's going to pay you just because you know how to hold the hammer.
Yeah.
The tool isn't the job. Not anymore.
So today we're doing something a little different. We're going to dissect a guide by Max Ann. It's titled 11 Best AI Business Models to Start in 2026. But our mission here isn't just to read you a list. We're going to look at the 11 real paths that founders are using right now, today, to actually replace their 9-to-5s.
And I got to say, I have some mixed feelings about this list. I love that it's brutal. It admits most people failed.
Yeah.
The ones who made it, they're building complex systems, not just prompting.
Right.
But I do think the guide maybe glosses over just how hard some of these paths really are.
Well, let's unpack that. The source makes a really bold claim right at the start. It says, prompt engineering is a skill, not a business.
And that's it. That's the thesis for the whole 2026 economy, isn't it?
It really feels like it.
It's like typing. You needed to be a writer, but professional typer isn't a high-paying job.
Mm-hmm.
The market's just matured. You see tools like Kling V3, Sora 2. They don't need magic spells anymore. They just need direction.
That brings us perfectly to our first big category today, the visual revolution. This covers the AI filmmaker, the creative studio, and the AI influencer.
Okay.
Let's start with the filmmaker because that one feels the most, tangible.
This is the one that just blows my mind. We are literally talking about replacing an entire film crew.
The whole thing.
The lighting, camera ops, logistics, all of it. Replaced with a good laptop and a few subscriptions.
And the guide mentions Kling V3 and Sora 2 are what really pushed this from being a cool experiment to a real career. But what's the actual workflow? It's not just one button, right?
No, not at all. That's the big misconception. It breaks down what creators like PJ Ace are doing, and it's a stack. You're not just typing, make a Nike ad.
Okay.
You're in Midjourney 7 generating reference images just to get the lighting right.
Yeah.
And you're feeding those into Sora 2 for motion. Then you're using a totally separate agent for sound design. It's orchestration.
So the filmmaker is really an editor-in-chief of AI agents.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the barrier to entry is just crumbled. You used to need, what, 50 grand for a decent 30-second spot?
At least.
Now you have people landing contracts with David Beckham's brand from their home office.
The source mentions the first fully AI-generated ad was during the 2025 NBA Finals. That feels like a moment we all kind of just glossed over.
We did, but the industry didn't. That was the signal. If you can get cinematic quality without all the friction of a physical shoot, the economics just flip. We're seeing projects go for $3,000 to $10,000 for a single spot.
Wow.
And the margin is huge because you're not paying a crew.
But doesn't that just flood the market? If anyone can do it, doesn't the price just tank?
That's the risk, for sure. But right now, taste is the scarcity. The tool can make the video, but your taste.
Yeah.
Your taste makes it a story. And most people still have bad taste.
Fair point. Okay, so if you scale that filmmaker model up, you get the AI creative studio.
Yeah, which is just the agency version. Instead of one-off projects, you're on retainer.
Mm-hmm.
5 to 15 grand a month, selling speed and volume to brands that need content every single day for TikTok, for Instagram.
Right. And then there's a third part of this visual puzzle, and this is where it gets a little weird for me. The AI influencer.
Oh, I love this corner of the internet. The character play.
But explain this. We're not talking about a human using an AI filter.
No, we're talking about completely fictional entities, like Bigfoot doing vlogs from the forest, or a Rastafarian monkey character, a digital avatar with a personality and a fan base that doesn't actually exist.
And brands are really putting money behind a character that isn't real. I mean, what's the ROI?
They love it. Think about it from a brand safety perspective. The character never gets tired.
Wow.
It never gets caught saying something awful on a hot mic. It never has a scandal unless you write one for it. It's the ultimate creator.
It does make me wonder, though, does removing the human face from all this content, does it dehumanize the art, or does it actually liberate the storyteller.
I think it actually frees the creator to focus purely on the narrative. You don't have to worry about how you look or getting older. You just worry about the story. It's just puppetry with digital strings.
That's a fascinating way to put it. Okay, let's pivot. Category 2, the service and vibe coding economy. Less art, more utility.
This is where most of the money is being made right now. But it's also where the burnout risk is highest.
The source breaks this into 3 roles: the consultant, the freelancer, and the automation agency. Let's start with the consultant. The guide calls it the fastest path to your first dollar.
In theory, yes. Because you're not selling code. You're selling certainty. You go in your business, do an audit, and you fix one thing.
But what does an audit actually look like?
The guide suggests a 3-point audit. You're looking for repetitive emails, data entry bottlenecks, or customer support lag. You find one of those, you install the tool to automate it, and boom, that's a $3,000 fix.
It sounds so simple, there has to be a catch.
The catch is sales. You have to convince a business owner to let you into their messy back end. And most tech people, they hate sales. So it's the fastest path, but also the most socially demanding. You're selling trust.
Okay, then we have the AI freelancer. And the source uses a term that's really taken over this past year: vibe coding.
Vibe coding. I love that this is the official term now. It just sounds so casual for something so powerful.
So for anyone listening who might have missed this shift, what is vibe coding in 2026?
It's like going from being a bricklayer to an architect. Before, you had to know where every single semicolon went. Now, with tools like Bolt or Lovable, you just tell the AI, I want a CRM that feels like Notion but acts like Salesforce. You describe the vibe, the AI handles the logic.
So you're managing the outcome, not the syntax.
Exactly. It's coding for people who get logic but hate syntax.
And I have to admit, this is something I still wrestle with: prompt drift. I mean, even with these incredible new tools, I'll have a system working perfectly on a Tuesday, and then by Friday, it just gives me something slightly different.
Oh, absolutely. That's why the freelancer is still so valuable. It's not just building it once. It's having the patience to wrestle that system into being stable. That's what people pay for, your patience.
And when you scale that patience, you get the AI automation agency.
Right. You stop trading your time for money, you build the systems, maybe hire a couple vibe coders to do the work, and you just manage the client. That's how you get to those 5-figure months. But you become a manager, not a builder.
It raises a question about where the value is. Is the value really in the tool, or is it in having the courage to tell a business owner their process is obsolete?
The value is definitely in the diagnosis, not just the prescription. The tool is $20 a month. Knowing where to point it without breaking the entire company, that's 10 grand.
We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we're looking at the long game, models, education, and SaaS, and we'll discuss why that recurring revenue dream might actually be a trap. Mid-roll sponsor break. We are back. We are diving deep into the 11 AI business models of 2026. We've covered the visual artists and the service providers. Now let's talk about the educators.
This is the long game. And honestly, this is the section that requires the most patience.
The source identifies 3 types: the content creator, the consumer educator, and the business educator. Let's start with the content creator.
This is the path everyone wants because it looks so fun on social media. But the guide is super harsh about it. It says, the reality is tough.
It takes a long time. Meaningful income is delayed. Most people quit. It's the classic trough of sorrow.
Yeah, because you're fighting for attention in a world that is just flooded with AI content. But the pivot to consumer AI educator is where it gets interesting. This isn't about being famous. It's about being specific.
The example it gives is how to prepare your children for an AI future.
Right. You see the difference. Intro to AI is boring. It's a commodity. But AI for parents, that hits a nerve. When you narrow the focus, you increase the value. That's how you get to $3,000 to $10,000 a month in revenue from a niche course.
And then there's the business AI educator, corporate training.
This is the bridge. Think about how many companies panic bought enterprise licenses for ChatGPT or Gemini last year. They bought them for everyone. But nobody actually uses them for more than, like, writing polite emails. The investment is wasted. So the educator comes in and shows the marketing team how to use it for data analysis, or HR how to use it for screening. They bridge that gap.
And the upside there is pretty significant: $5,000 to $20,000 engagements.
And it almost always leads to consulting. It's the perfect foot in the door. You teach them, They realize they can't do it themselves, so they hire you to do it for them.
So why do you think we value a specific guide for parents so much more than a general guide for everyone?
Because generic advice feels like noise,
Hmm.
but specific advice feels like a solution. One is just information, the other feels like a rescue plan.
That brings us to the heavy hitters. Segment 4, the sauce builder and the transformation partner.
This is where the difficulty curve just spikes. This is hard mode.
The AI sauce builder, the product route.
Everyone romanticizes this one. The dream of recurring revenue, right? Build it once, get paid forever.
But the source has a pretty big reality check. The first version will absolutely suck.
And there's an even bigger trap, the clone trap. The problem isn't building the sauce anymore. You can build a functioning app in a weekend. The problem is your competitor can clone it next weekend.
So the competitive moat is just gone.
It is, unless you have proprietary data. The guide argues that if you don't have a financial runway, this path is a trap. You're just going to be fighting churn constantly.
Then there's the transformation partner, the summit, as they call it.
Yeah, this is not an entry-level gig. This is for the veterans. You're not a vendor. You are a strategic partner rewiring a company's DNA with AI.
And the contracts are 6 figures.
Easily. But you cannot fake this one. You need a real track record. You're managing fear and human psychology, not just software.
It really seems like the sauce route is the one people romanticize the most. Is that dream of recurring revenue actually a trap for someone without a financial runway?
Totally. It's a marathon disguised as a sprint. Everyone sees the finish line with the monthly checks, but they don't see the 18 months of eating ramen while you're begging people not to cancel.
So we've laid out all 11 paths. The filmmaker, the consultant, the builder. The final section is about strategy and selection. How do you choose? Because analysis paralysis feels like the real enemy here.
The guide breaks it down really simply, which I like. It's based on your personality.
Let's run through it. It says, if you need money fast and you have no tech skills.
AI consultant. Go sell audits. But you have to be willing to talk to people.
If you love building and tinkering.
AI freelancer.
Ugh.
Get into those vibe coding tools. You can hide behind your screen and let the work speak for you.
Creative.
AI filmmaker, for sure.
And if you're patient.
Then you go content creator or, eventually, transformation partner.
The source explicitly names the 2 most proven paths for 2026, and they are the consultant and the freelancer.
Because they have the shortest feedback loops. You do work, you get paid. You don't have to wait for an audience to grow or for code to compile.
There's one piece of advice in the conclusion that really stood out to me, the 1,000 days rule.
Yes. Pick one model and commit to it for 1,000 days. That's, what, almost 3 years.
In a world where AI changes every week, 3 years feels like an eternity. How can you commit to a model when the tech will be completely different in 6 months?
That's the paradox, right? The tech changes constantly, but the fundamental business model, solving a human problem, that doesn't change. If you jump around every time a new tool comes out, you never build any momentum.
Just a series of unfinished projects.
Exactly. And the guide mentions that mindset shift from being a know-it-all to a learn-it-all.
Right.
You can't rely on textbooks. They're obsolete by the time they're printed. You just have to be in the trenches, learning by doing.
It makes me think, does the paralysis of choice prevent more people from starting than the actual difficulty of the work itself?
Absolutely. Action cures fears so much faster than planning does. People spend months picking the perfect model and 0 days actually doing it.
So let's recap the big ideas. The landscape in 2026 isn't about how to prompt. That's just table stakes. It's about solving specific problems.
Yeah.
Whether that's through visual storytelling as a filmmaker, or bringing clarity as a consultant, or building systems as an agency.
And the barrier to entry is technically low. You
Yeah.
just need a laptop. But the requirement for focus, that is higher than ever. You have to pick a lane and stick with it.
The final thought from the source material is one I really want to leave you with. The people making money right now aren't smarter than you. They just started while you were reading.
That's the kick in the pants right there. Stop researching. Stop listening to podcasts. Well, maybe after this one. Just pick one of these 11 paths this weekend and start.
Thank you for diving in with us. We'll see you in the next deep dive.
See ya!